Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. We're a YouTube channel on the web at smartwatchticks.com. More questions than any that I'm getting these days from you guys in the various comments under different videos are to compare the LEMFO LEM12 Pro Android 10 smartwatch with their LEMFO LEM14 Android 10 smartwatch. Which one do you want to buy? We're going to take a quick look at that today. First of all, I want to tell you both of them are available from Banggood. These are the guys helping us out here. I wouldn't have anything to show you today if it wasn't for these guys. So the prices are constantly changing. They're in and out of flash sale, and I have different coupons. So check the show notes for the link to the Banggood buying page. Right now, they're listed at about $230 for the LEM12 Pro and under $200 in flash sale right now for the LEM14. We'll get you the best price we can, and we'll have that listed for you. So whichever one you decide upon, Banggood is our choice. They're helping us out so we can show you this stuff. Okay, let's get on to the watches. First thing I want to do is turn it on, each of them separately. I got the volume set up so that you can hear them. I'm going to take the little sticker off. You'll recognize this one because of the very fancy band. This does not come with it. This is a custom band, and I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit as well. But as it boots up, you can hear the sound coming out. It's going through the LEMFO logo. And we take a quick look at the body. We've got a bezel around the edge. It's marked. So you have a little bit of highlight activity going on there. You have this particular Tesseract custom face that you can touch and twirl and do some fun things. These may be actually your deciding factors are the unique watch faces. That's some of the little differences you see. There's a side camera and a front camera. They're pretty much subdued, not very large at all. It's a little bit thinner watch, about 17 millimeters thick, got a ceramic back, screw to keep the SIM cover on, solid, heart rate, charging port, removable bands, all of that stuff. And speaking of bands, the bands that came with this are exactly the same ones you'll see here, but these are coming from a company called Strapsco. We've talked about them, got a whole video on a variety of different straps that they have to offer, and highly recommend them if you'd like to put a different kind of strap. Anything from metal to plastic to rubber to these fancy leather ones, multi-tone. tinyurl.com/strapsco. I know, every little bit helps me out to keep this channel going, so head on over and look at the bands, okay? These are really nice. I really love this, and I'm going to put this one on just so you can see what the watch looks like on your arm. So we're focusing on the 12 Pro first, and as you know, I'm going to skip that one. It's easier to just go around it. As you know, it's like an upgrade to the original LEM12, which was an Android 7 watch. This is Android 10. They're both the same size screen. They're both the same type screen. They're both the same resolution. They both use the same processor, 64 gigabytes of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM, 8 core processors, on and on and on. So there's really no difference there. What you got to judge it on is the look, the smell, the taste. The sounds are pretty much the same between the two. Communications, SIM card, all of that's the same. Now, this particular unit has a 900 milliamp hour battery in it, and you can get an extra 900 milliamp hour dock. Now, sometimes it's shipped as a combined unit, so check it when you're buying it, if you can buy it with the dock as part of it, or you can buy the dock separate. 900 milliamp, 900 milliamp here. The watch just sits on the dock. We'll do that at the end. It fits right in that form factor. You plug it in here to charge it. You also can use the 4-pin magnetic coupler that comes with each of them and not even need to use the dock at all. So, LEM12 Pro. Okay, it's 900 milliamp battery, 900 milliamp dock. We're going to talk about the battery life also in a moment. You've got a few custom faces which are unique and different. Hello, come back to me here. Oftentimes, the first time you touch it, you unlock the screen, and then the second time it activates. So if it looks like it's sluggish, it's not really. It's just that. We've got, these are not bubbles that you pop now, but you've got an animated screen like this. Notice that the actual time and date are all the same. I think too thin of a font to easily see, but that's what they chose. So all they're doing is giving you active wallpaper in the background, but it comes with the system. Now all these other watch faces are stock, and they're pretty much the same. So in terms of custom watch faces, it's just those two. Let's jump ahead now. We'll come back and do a little more cross comparison after I show you the LEM14. We're going to press and hold the button on this one to turn it on. As it's booting up, I'll take off its little tag. I'll show you the stock bands, which are nice, that come with it, rubberized on the back and kind of brown or black leather on the front. There's also a rubberized there you go, the sound from that one sounded pretty similar to my ears. These are pretty old ears, guys. This sounds a little sharper to me than that. That's a little bit flatter. This is a little bit brighter, but the speaker holes are smaller than they are on here. I don't know. It's something you'd have to judge for yourself. Now, the animated face that comes on this one is like a flying tunnel, and it doesn't really change when you touch it. And this one doesn't either. Oh, yeah, it does. Look at that. I guess it, yeah, okay. So these are touchable, changeable active faces. As far as actual active faces where you can touch buttons to do things, that's somewhat supported, like it was in Android 7, but it's got a little bit of growing to do for it to work really well in Android 10. It's a work in progress. Okay, we got two cameras on here as well. We've got a front-facing one and a side. The bezel is all shiny, okay? It's not like this. And the camera protrudes quite a bit on this one. It sticks out more so than on here. So it's kind of bold, a little bit bolder and bigger. It's also thicker, about 20 millimeters as opposed to 17. And in doing so, it's packing an 1100 milliamp hour battery in here. And you can get it with an optional 2200 milliamp hour power bank. Now this bank actually, you see, comes from Rollme, which made the S08, which was the precursor to this design. There's also the Rogbid Brave and Brave Pro, Android 7 or Android 10. We just did a comparison of the LEM14 and the Rogbid Brave Pro. Identical watches pretty much down to everything, so check that review for more deeper details on the LEM14 as well. And any of those that I just mentioned would be in this class, and then the LEM12 Pro with this kind of a dock is in this different class. So you have more battery overall here. A little bit bigger in the watch, but it is thicker, and a bigger, beefier attachable dock that you bring with it. They are not interchangeable, obviously, completely different designs, so you can't put this dock on that watch or vice versa. Where are we? We are looking at the back of this one now. In terms of the SIM card, it's a little more complicated to change out the SIM. So if you're the kind of person that's going to pop the SIM out of your phone and put it in your watch to go out for a jog and then come back and pop it out and put it back in your phone, this is easier and still pretty solidly protected from getting sweat or moisture inside of here. This is super protected. In fact, it is so protected, this watch is totally waterproof. You can swim with it. You can go down 50 meters with this. It's 5 ATM waterproof. This is probably IP67 splash resistant. I really wouldn't dunk it underwater and trust that it's going to work. But this one, we got a video up on the LEM14 underwater test, and it does just fine. Not only that, the test shows you that you can still actively use the screen even though it's wet. So pretty darn good waterproofing on this one. Bigger battery, waterproofing, bulkier, heavier, bolder, a little bit more dressy, subdued. If you're not going to go in water, if you're a lawyer, you know, this is the kind of watch that might really look more professional This might be more sporty. Let's put this one on. We showed you the other one on. Again, this is the kind of leather band look, but you can get it comes with the extra bands with it, the rubberized type, really for taking it in the water, or of course from Straps.co you can get any kind of band you want for either of these watches. Yeah, it looks pretty thick there, doesn't it? Bit on the thicker side, but that's to accommodate the 1100 milliamp hour battery. All right, what about this battery stuff then? Let's jump into that. We'll come back and talk a little bit more comparison, but I've done some testing for you. Let's grab the charge test. I ran them all, both of them, completely out. I mean, down to, and with the screens on, 30 minutes, and let them die. I mean, they were dead. You never really should do that. Take it down to about 10% and then charge it back up. But I did it so that we could really get a baseline test for you. So the 12 Pro versus the 14, the only thing on in the background was Wi-Fi, like here. So this was set to middle brightness. Wi-Fi was on, no GPS, no SIM cards in either of them. And that's it, just like that. So what happened? Well, obviously I couldn't turn them on until they had a little bit of juice in them, so I started them with the watches off at 0% each. I ran it for 15 minutes. At 15 minutes, I turned the watches on, turned both of them. The 12 Pro had charged to 21%, the 14 to 19%. So this one charged a little bit more, but that kind of makes sense. It's a 900 milliamp hour battery, so it's going to charge a little faster. Another 30 minutes with the watch on and the Wi-Fi on, and it charged 36 and 31. Another 30 minutes, or another 15, then 30. So at a total of 60 minutes, after 1 hour, this one was up to 74% and 2/3, 66% here. This one kicked in at 100% after 84 minutes, so just shy of 90 minutes. When you hit 90 minutes, this one was at 96%, and it kind of got stuck there. It didn't keep going 97, 98. It must have been 15, 20 minutes later. It was still about 98. It never hit 100. So my guess is this hasn't fully seasoned yet. And you guys know it's a good idea to cycle the batteries over time, charge it up, run it down to 10 or 20%, then charge it back up to 95, 100, something like that, and let the regulating circuitry in there stabilize so that when it gets to 100, it's at 100. So roughly, not a whole lot of difference. This one charges a little bit faster than this one, but you're not going to notice it much. If you go for an hour, you get 74% and 66%. All right? Now, I went ahead and charged them up to 95% both. The Pro and 12 Pro and the 14. Again, only Wi-Fi on, just like you saw there, and probably the same here. Oh no, this one is all set up differently. Look at this. I got airplane on, so I'm going to turn that off. Which is another great thing to do if you want to save battery, is turn airplane on. And then, if you need Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, turn them on. Because with airplane on, you're definitely turning the cellular radio off. And if you don't need it and you don't have a SIM in it, or even if you do have a SIM in it but you don't need it, it's good to have that radio off. Why keep it on and use up your battery? So here we go, 95% at the start after 30 minutes with the screen on. So I set the timeout to go for 30 minutes, and then they would both turn off, and I monitored that. We dropped from 95 to 80% on this one, and to 86% on this one. Makes sense. This is a little larger battery, so it should drop a little slower. 30 more minutes off, and then in addition to that 30 minutes off, so half an hour on, half an hour off, a whole hour there, it went from 80 to 67 and then to 76. Then I did another 30 minutes with the screens on. Again, the only thing else on is Wi-Fi connected in the background. 51 and 65. So about half of the power dropped down after 30, an hour, and 30, about 2 hours, of which an hour and a half was with the screen on, ate up half the power. Here it ate up 35, 45%. Anyway, we got to that level, and then I turned them both off, and I had other things to do. So it was 2 days with them off, and then when I came back, I turned them on, and when I turned them on, this had dropped 2%, that dropped 2%. So in the off mode, there's not a lot of activity happening in the background. It truly is off, more or less. There's a little bit, maybe keeping track of time or something going on. So there's a slight drop, but not huge. Okay. I adjusted them, charged that one a little, drained that one a little. I made them both equal to 50%. We began testing again. Now, I turned the airplane mode on like I showed you, and that I left it on, turning off everything, including Wi-Fi. So airplane mode on, turning all radios off. I did 30 minutes, again, with the screens on, both of them. It dropped 10% there, dropped 8% there, another 30 minutes, dropped to here, another 30 minutes, dropped to there, and then I did 30 minutes more with the screen off. Look at this, it only dropped 2% on each of these if the screen was off. So it really does show you that no matter what watch you've got, having the screen on is going to eat the most power, and that's the best way I could get you guys rapid test results. But you can also see that you've got a little bit more oomph out of the 14 because of the bigger battery than you do out of the 12 Pro, and it's going to take you a little longer to charge it up as well. Simple facts. Okay, same thing now with the power banks. This will take longer to charge, and it won't give you as much extra boost as this one will. So if you're going to be somebody that's going to be out and about away from any kind of power for an extended period of time, and you need your watch to last, and you're going to use it a lot with the screen on, the 14 might be your best combination. Pick up 1 or 2 of these banks, and you're going to be really good to go. The easy thing to do is you just drop it on the bank itself like that. It goes into the charging mode right away, and there you go. It's transferring now the battery power that's in the dock. It has a little blue glow on the side. When you plug this in, it's red as it's charging. When you're discharging it into the watch, it's glowing blue like that. Same thing here now. We line this up with this, and we drop it on, and we get the charging happening here. Now, obviously, it's not going to charge nearly as good or as fast as it would with wires plugged into it, because you're going from battery to battery. And as these drain and these fill, you know, it's going to be even slower. But if you want to get a boost, and that's why it's a booster dock, you can get that from these little slap-on units. You can pick up 2 or 3 of them. They're about $15 each, I think. Should have links in the show notes. I know for this one I'm pretty sure. I'll try to find them for both in case you just want to buy the dock. If you've already got the watch, you want an extra dock, you can get that. And that's it, gang. I think we've covered everything major in terms of its appearance, its weight, its size, its look. There's much, much more deeper details when you get into like SIM card support and modifying APN numbers and all the kinds of things that get really deeply technical. And those topics are discussed in individual threads over at the Full Android Watch technical forum. It's located at discourse.fullandroidwatch.org. It's free to go over there. You can peruse everything. There's firmware. If you know how to flash firmware and you get in trouble in a watch, there's instructions on how to do that. Really a great site. If you want to participate in the conversation, just create a free account like you would on any social media, and you can join in the conversation, ask questions, get guidance. But please, guys, thumb through the blog to see if your questions have already been answered, because they try to keep it succinct and short and not repeating over and over and over again. And a lot of questions are similar that everybody's having. And when there's feature improvements, they're going to be listed there. And the watch companies themselves, in particular, LEMFO and Cospet and Rogbid and Ticris, and I don't know, a bunch of them are all collaborative in nature with that site. So they're reading your blog, and the ones that aren't reading it, Pablo 11, the administrator, is in a back door with each of these companies and feeding to them the information and the issues that you guys have got and working on your behalf. All for free. Really, it's a great resource. All right, this is the LEMFO LEM12 Pro Android 10 smartwatch. This is the LEMFO LEM14 Android 10 smartwatch. 5 ATM waterproof, bigger battery, bigger casing, little heavier, bigger dock, not waterproof, much more refined and subdued overall appearance, thinner, and would have exactly the same bands on here, and any of those that you could want to, you could change out with a band from Strapsco at tinyurl.com/Strapsco. Last thing to mention one more time is where you get them. Yeah, Banggood. Banggood's got them, LEM14 right now, under $200 in a flash sale. Generally, when there's a flash sale, I don't have a coupon to tack on to that. So that's probably the price out the door if you're watching this in April 2021. This one, I think I can probably get you a coupon because it's at full retail, so it should be in the neighborhood of that one. I think the prices will be pretty much comparable, but you now know the differences and the benefits between each of them for comparison. And I would recommend, if you don't have a dock, to get it with a dock, especially if you can order it with the dock as a package, because guys, shipping wise these days, you order this thing by itself. Even if you order this and this by itself, you might run into a shipping issue because not all the shippers are willing to ship a dock with exposed pins. With a battery in the watch, they'll ship it. With the charger dock and the battery in its main box, they'll ship it. But this thing wrapped separately could be an issue. Not for everybody, but play it safe. If you think you want a dock, try to get it with the dock when you buy it. And I don't know, start with my links that I've got for you, and if it doesn't have what you want, fire out from there to look around and see what else you can put together. As long as you go in using the link in the show notes down below, it's going to fly back here to Smartwatch Ticks, and we'll get credit for having sent you over there, and I'll be able to get the LEM15s and 16s and everything else to show you. I hope that answered some of your questions and helped you decide which one you might want between these two. Remember, there are other Android 10s out there. There's a Thor 6. There's a great review that shows the Thor 6, the LEM12 Pro, and the huge Cosbet Prime 2, which we're going to have a little treat coming up to tell you about pretty darn soon. Yeah, so if you haven't subscribed, see, I can weave it all together. Make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell, and you'll get notified when we've got another fun review up for you. Thanks for watching, gang. We'll see you again soon.